Have you heard about this weapon called Cyanex? Cyanex is a Mastery Rank 8 hybrid weapon that combines both technology from Corpus and Sentient into its design and gameplay. The projectiles shot by Cyanex will bounce while having a 15-degree homing perk. It deals full impact damage on direct hit and full gas damage on its small 0.7 meter AoE. Its projectile will ricochet once as well, hitting the second target nearby. Its alternative fire will ditch its homing, ricochet, and bouncing capability, but in exchange, it gains 0.5 punch-through and infinite body punch-through, and it will be a full magazine burst that deals primarily slash damage with very high accuracy. Cyanex is not a weapon you will normally see someone playing, nor very fond of. It is the secondary counterpart of Comorex, which is also another gun that many of you may not even know but underrated in strength. Both are introduced in May 22, 2019, which is update 25.0. If you count the date, it has been over 5 years since Cyanex first see the light of Warframe's sky. Time to be riding at a light speed train at times. The stats of Cyanex are not the most beautiful one overall, but for a Mastery Rank 8 weapon, aka the breakpoint between early to mid game, the stats it provides is actually quite nice, and it is the only field around its level that is actually capable to perform decently in Steel Path. Obviously, it is destined to not be like those higher Mastery Rank weapons, but this is its moment, and it should be. Before we get into the showcases, I would like to thank Sci-Fi for providing me this riven. Give this man some support if you are very into weapon reviews, limbo shenanigans, and just in general you want to learn how this man even plays limbo in such a degree. I know you may ask that, oh, a riven build. Of course it works. Well, the previous statements is true to an extent, but fret not, my riven is a crit damage and base damage increase. While it is crucial to Cyanex, doesn't cut its performance much at all if you put something like Prime Target Cracker and Hornet Strike in your build. The primary elemental combination we will be running today is Blast. I know, Blast again. Your typical Warframe YouTubers has been riding it when the update dropped, but this does have a good reason for it. While I will argue that there are alternatives that are as good or better, but the reason of using Blast is actually very simple. Cyanex has very high status and 2 instances of hit, resulting in almost immediate 10 blast proc for that 5 meter AoE to be triggered in an extremely frequent pace, transforming Cyanex into an AoE weapon that can kill with quite the speed. Elemental combination aside, just remember to slap in your extremely generic galvanized mod package into Cyanex that appears in almost every single secondary weapon, and instead of modding for that just as generic and predictable crit mods, we will only need crit damage this time. Crit chance wise, I will explain later. Cyanex also possesses a very great perk that is not common, which is multi-CO on its primary fire and alternative fire, meaning that now base damage is extremely lacking, and now CO is a separate multiplier that scales with statuses. It is advised to mod base damage on your weapon if you want to pair this with something like secondary encumber, as Cyanex can abuse this extremely well, or just the good old secondary merciless, which I am using. Before the Jade Shadows update, Cyanex used to struggle in the reload speed department, while mods like Prime Quick Draw with the combination of Merciless cuts that down to 1.01 seconds. It comes with the exchange of occupying that one slot for utility, as the value it provides is simply too large to be ignored. But after the update, a mod, Pistol Elementalist, was introduced, and it simultaneously provides 2 core stats for Cyanex with just 1 stone.
What are you waiting for? Install now for free, and it comes with a free bundle that contains fun and jokes that your enemies won't laugh at. Make sure to use the code Pistol Elementalist at your mod search bar and see if you are lucky enough to have one. Remember, it's code Pistol Elementalist, PISTOL spacebar ELEMENTALIST to see that if you have one in your mod inventory. Have fun!
With just 1 slot left to spare, it has to be the most essential mod of all, secondary, Little Torrent. Colorfully surprised by this very riveting choice. Or you are me, have a riven dedicated to it, but you do need to replace the base damage mod instead of Little Torrent though. You can go something like raw heat or electricity if you don't want to play blast. Traditional viral heat or corrosive heat is perfectly fine as well, but you will need to swap out the base damage mod like always. If you had 2 emerald shards to spare, you can choose corrosive heat, as now you are full stripping your enemies while dishing out very good DOT damage. I will be using Rhino, typical, for this channel. There are 4 different kinds of builds for you today that fits well with Cyanex, but some arcanes and mods will be mandatory with Cyanex today. We will be using Arcane Avenger in all of our builds today, as it provides a flat 45% crit chance to Cyanex, making it 53% crit chance. While this seems good enough, we can still push this crit chance further. But how? Do you remember Piercing Raw, that augment that barely anyone uses, that so-called band-aid? If you look closely, Piercing Raw allows Raw to now inflict max puncture status to enemies around 25 meters of it, though unfortunately the plus 40% range does not apply to Piercing Raw knockdown. If you know what puncture procs do, it provides a plus 25 crit chance to your guns when you hit the enemy that has a max puncture procs. An enemy deals 80% less damage to you and provide an additional status for collision overload, even if it doesn't work on AoE effects and abilities. But since our damage comes primarily from direct hits, it should be more than fine. The rest is just the typical mods that you did use, but with very combination. I will show it at the start of every showcase, including the shards with it, potentially adding some explanation for it as well. Focus School is the good old Madurai for 40% strength and 50% casting speed increase. Okay, crash course time. This serves to help you understand how I play Rhino to an extent, and you can incorporate this into your Rhino gameplay as well if you decide to follow my path, or else some motherfuckers will blame me on, "Bro, your build sucks and why my Rhino can be like yours? You must be cheating!" Or the common, "How do you even play Rhino?" moment. Might as well build your understanding up here. Skip this part if you knew well about Rhino. For Rhino, when you go into a mission like survival, to set up your iron skin, find yourself a spot that dense with enemies, you jump into the middle where you are surrounded by them and cast your iron skin. This at least allows a far better chance of a good iron skin charge. If you fail to get a good one, don't panic, let it slowly fade out, and when it is around 20%, start to find a new crowd again and start to stand in the middle of them. This is when the 37.5% casting speed comes in. With this amount of casting speed, you can spam the Iron Skin button before it goes down and cast Iron Skin immediately when it is down. And due to your casting time is way below the 0.5 second gate, resulting in perfect sim through that I call Iron Skin 0.5 second sim through, taking no damage in the process. After this, try not to stand in a place much and incorporate movements into your gameplay, adding in Piercing Roar and Rhino Storm into it as well, as you need to cast Piercing Roar frequently for that quick chance, and Rhino Storm stops them from moving at all, allows you to shoot them down with them not fighting back, adding to the fact that Reinforcing Storm also recovers your lost skin health percent per enemy hit. If you get yourself a good skin charge and you are able to execute this well, maintaining that same skin for over 20 minutes is extremely likely to happen. Hope this very brief crash course helps. The reason why this subsume is chosen is that despite armor is significantly nerfed, Blast non-explosion damage is not good enough to brute force through it, and thus this method is advised. I will be choosing Terror Strike as my tool of armor strip. Though something like Pillage is just as good, I would suggest that you pick whatever you feel like it. Nothing much to explain here. I will just let the "this is not chess by the way" speak for itself. The use of this subsume means that we will be utilizing its alternative fire. DOT wise, Pure Slash will be used here. You can replace the elemental mods with Carnage Stinger and Auger Seeker. Bane mod or base damage mod will work as well. The rest is the same. Warframe Arcane wise, instead of using Arcane Avenger, we will opt for Arcane Precision for more base damage, as this build is specifically for Disruption mission. As usual, the mods are the same. Primer is Mutalist Cernos with this exact build. I will just let the showcase speak for itself. Ah yes, the very typical Norwich Rhino build coming to your way like always. Norwich to let us gain viral damage on our weapons, though trading much of our blast proc rate, but in exchange we have way better DPS capability. Nothing much to say, I guess you can see how it performs. Tempest Barrage with its augment, Viral Tempest allows both viral and corrosive together. Not much to explain either, like what can I even say? Hans Niemann once said that chess speaks for itself, but since I'm an artist, I am obligated to steal it masterfully and actually make it sound like bullshit I made up. And so I present to you Warframe gameplay speaks for itself. Cyanex, old but respectable. Genuinely one of the most fun gun that Warframe has ever introduced. It deserves the respect and shall a tribute be made just for you. What I have shown today is guidelines that you can take reference for, or how you can make the weapon strong and easily steel path viable. It is not something that you must follow with 100% accuracy, but to inspire you to play with it yourself and find your own way of making it perform greatly, like what you see in the showcases. Don't just mindlessly copy the builds, try to experiment it yourself, and most of the times this is where the fun is. I wish you success in your testing.